Hi, I'm Steve Keohane. I'm a consultant dermatologist at the Portsmouth Dermatology Centre, and I've worked there for nearly 20 years. And during that time, I've developed a very special interest in skin cancer management, its diagnosis, and of course, its prevention. And this short video, I'm going to talk about what we need to know about sun protection over the course of this summer. So in this presentation, as I've just said, I'm going to focus on sun protection and some basic facts about skin cancer. So what is ultraviolet radiation? The type of radiation which actually causes skin cancer. As you can see from this diagram, the variety of types, but the ones which are really important to address are blocking out UVA, which is the longer wavelength of ultraviolet, and UVB, which is the shorter wavelength. UVB causes sunburn, and UVA causes damage to underlying structures. In the past, we thought UVB was mainly responsible for the generation of skin cancers, but we now understand that UVA can also be responsible. So you can actually see in this picture how the UV actually causes the skin cancer. The squamous cell carcinomas and the basal cell carcinomas, which are in the picture, are the slow growing, usually non-life-threatening skin cancers, which do need to be dealt with, but aren't as serious as the potentially more aggressive melanomas, which we're really trying to prevent with sun protection. So what's a tan? You know, it's a fallacy really that it's healthy, because it's actually a form of injury. If you actually look at what's happening in the skin during tanning, there is damage to the DNA at a cellular level, which can, in some people, lead to skin cancer. This is much more of a problem, though, with people with a lighter skin, but people who tan easily aren't protected completely by their skin type. Sunburn definitely increases the risk of melanoma, particularly in childhood. And there are several big Australian studies to support this. And that risk actually increases the more times you have sunburn. So do be aware. And also that sunburn can have an impact during the course of your life as well. So not just in childhood. The really important thing to remember, particularly for people in their teens and 20s, is that tanning bed usage increases the risk significantly of skin cancer. And there's legislation in Australia about this, and emerging legislation in the UK. Factors that increase skin cancer, as I've already said, if you're prone to sunburn, if you've got light skin, prone to freckles, blonde or red head, if you work outdoors or live in high altitudes, and that's due to increased UV rays, and people who have immune suppressing medicine for a variety of inflammatory conditions can be more prone to skin cancer as well. And as I've just said, excess exposure to light from tanning booths or sunlight. What's really important about this slide is the rate of progression of melanoma as opposed to all other cancers. And as you can see, by 2024, there's a projected 52% increase in the rate of melanoma, which is far higher than any other cancer. So how can I protect myself from skin cancer and also prevent premature aging? So always try and limit your sun exposure between 10 and 4 p.m. If you can be outside out with those times, it's much better, but you've got to enjoy life as well. The Australians have got a good saying, is that if your shadow is shorter than you are, you should really think about your sun exposure. Covering up is really effective using UV protective clothing, which is freely available now. Wearing wide-brimmed hats. Remember, wraparound sunglasses as well. Not only can UV have an effect on the skin, it can accelerate the development of things like cataracts in the eyes. use at least an SPF 30 or higher, and be sure to reapply that every 2 to 3 hours, and avoid artificial sources of UV light. There's a whole range of sunblocks available, but in general, use a sunblock with at least an SPF factor 30 or higher, and a star rating of 4 or 5. Now, the SPF really refers to the protection against UVB, whereas the star rating, which is on the reverse of the bottle, refers to the protection against UVA. Always look at water-resistant sunblocks. They're not going to protect you for that long, at most 90 minutes, and not all sunscreens offer water resistance. And it's really important to remember to reapply sunblocks every 2 to 3 hours. So what do you need to know about the ingredients in sunscreen? So there's basically two main types of type of sunblock. The first are those with organic filters, which basically absorb the UV radiation. And the second is inorganic filters, which basically reflect and scatter the UV radiation. And these are typically much less irritating to the skin than those with which are organically based. So 4 things to remember about sun protection. Nearly all skin cancers are preventable by limiting unprotected exposure to the sun. Most skin cancers can be treated really successfully if detected early, even melanoma. And when out in the sun, seek shade, and as the Australians say, slip, slop, slap, wrap. So slip on a shirt, slop on at least a factor 30 sunscreen with a 4-star UVA rating or more, and slap on a hat, and remember to put those shades on. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this video.